that those issues would be well discussed at huge international meetings organized by the UN. But we do need to find some ways, some more innovative, modern ways to begin to deal with the sentiments and beliefs about who women are that will move us, that can move us to the next step.
So we should prefer Beijing 20 years on rather than Cairo 20 years on.
Well, again, I mean, I think that the issues that were discussed at Beijing were important issues, were some of the kinds of issues that we wanted to discuss. And I mean, I remember sitting in Beijing and watching the government delegates debating sexual orientation. I mean, this was pretty mind-blowing to sit there and see delegates from 180 some countries who were not especially women-centered delegations, were really uptight, government officials being forced to talk about whether they were going to include the rights of sexual minorities in a women-centered platform. So there are advantages to those moments as culture-changing moments. But again, whether the way to grapple with these bigger issues is in large international meetings as opposed to perhaps more regionally homogeneous, less culturally conflictual settings where the other stuff, like, oh, you're just a feminist from, New York who wants to,
I know you're a feminist.
You got it. You know what I mean? I know who you are. I don't want to talk to you.
I know that Judy had a question, and then I can go up to her.
Okay.
Well, maybe you did.
Well, yeah, no, I did have a question. I mean, I guess in some respects, some of my question was asked, and some of my question perhaps has been answered. But I guess I'm thinking about what you said about value frames, and thinking about the MDGs and to what extent they perhaps addressed something that straddled a line maybe between a rights-based approach and sort of a different kind of a development approach, and something that captured at least some amount of the popular imagination, I think, in some places.
Do you think what percentage of the population of the United States, let's just say the United States, if you asked people, what does MDG stand for?
Come on.
I'm just challenging the word popular.
No, and no, fair enough.
None of this stuff reaches a level of popularity.
Well, and I guess that was kind of what I was going to. I was thinking about, for example, the Jubilee movement that was around debt forgiveness, that really did involve a lot of people who hadn't had any engagement at all in international anything.
Right.
Or even like the Occupy movement that's happening right now,
Right.
that has really grabbed people's attention. And it has people who may not be camping in a tent, but has people thinking about it in a way that at the beginning they weren't, because they didn't take it very seriously. But now they're suddenly thinking, oh, what percent am I, and how have I contributed to this? And I mean, so how do we not have a sort of another Beijing, which is just about women in Beijing with some men speaking? How do we have something that's a bigger part of people's value frames or the current topic of conversation, and how do we sort of manage to incorporate these topics, I guess, into what people are talking about and make them relevant, to the things that people are concerned about or starting to think about?
It's the kind of question that you can only answer in a sort of a facile kind, like it's a hard question. And, I think the task of all of us is to find some answers to those questions. I mean, it's obvious, the very old wisdom, but it's obvious that what does catch people more than anything else